Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. This is Oliver Wiedmaier, founder of Rory's Trading Group. Today, we're going to talk about Watchlist. We're going to talk about how to put stocks onto a watchlist, what scans to run to find stocks in momentum phases. We're going to talk about when to take a stock from a watchlist to a focus list. We're going to talk about what to do when it comes to alerts, where to set the alert, and then what do we do after the alert goes off. So, very simply, I want to run scans to find big momentum today or momentum phase, right? A trending stock. And so the first scan that I run is a 3R vol scan, which is just uh, today's volume is greater than 3 times the average volume. So this is going to pick up any stock that has a big gap up with high volume or a big trend reversal. And so basically, this is going to signal to us that there is uh, this is the start of a momentum phase. And so we put this on a watch list. Okay, and then we'll talk more about that later. What do we do after that? But that is one scan that I run to take a stock um, onto put a stock onto a watch list. I also every single day run 20% in 1 week. That's gonna let me know what stocks are um, starting their momentum phase. I'm gonna look for stocks that have made a 30% move in 1 month, and then also stocks that have made 50% move in 3 months. And these scans are just finding stocks that are in a momentum phase, whether it's day one or it's been trading for a while. These stocks are in a momentum phase. So, when do we take them off? Well, we take them off with a close below the 21-day moving average. Okay, what do we do to take them off the watch list and put them on a focus list? Well, we are looking for 2 days tight. Okay, so typically these scans are not going to find buyable setups. Okay, they're just showing us stocks that are in a momentum phase, and then it's our job to review the watch list every day to look for when the stock is pulling in to give us tight action, which then will give us a reason to buy it the next day or the next 2 days. And so to get a stock from a watch list to a focus list, it needs to pull in and then have those tight closes. Okay. So watch list stocks are going to be stocks that are not buyable, that are in a momentum phase. Focus list stocks are going to be stocks that are showing some consolidation 2 days tight. You set the alert above the 2 days tight or uh, the day prior to what we want to buy. And then when the stock breaks out, the alert is hit, and then you apply your situational awareness. For me, I want to see that I am in a bull market, breakouts are working, I don't have a lot of open exposure, and then I check for the range expansion. So if yesterday's candle was this big and my alert is here, if I'm looking and the stock looks like this today, that is not a range expansion. If it looks like this, that is a range expansion. And then that will signal a entry for me. This is an important note. Can zoom in a little bit here. Okay. If the stock gaps up a little bit, this is not a range expansion. Therefore, this is not an entry. It needs to break out. It needs to actually have a range expansion. So if this bar, let's say this bar is 10 cents, this needs to be at least 2 times. Okay. So if this is 10 cents, then this one needs to be at least 20 cents. Okay. That's showing that it's a range expansion. Okay. So let's take a look at some charts and see how this looks in real life. Okay, here we have Twillo. Okay. So it has this big gap up on huge volume, 300% volume. So this is a stock that comes up on that 3R vol watch list. Okay, so it has a really ugly close, but we still put it on our watch list. Okay, and we're looking for a delayed entry. A delay entry is within 3 to 7 days after the big high volume day, whether it's a gap up or a reversal bar, and then it pulls in tight and then it breaks in. So we see we have this big day here. Okay, this goes on a watch list. Okay, watch list. Okay, we're not going to check this the next day because we don't enter on day 2. So we'll fast forward. Bam, bam. Now it's nighttime or the morning, whatever. We are looking for stocks to move from a watch list to a focus list. Does this meet a 2 days tight criteria? No. So we leave it on the watch list. The next day, 2 days tight. Yes, but it doesn't pull in. So for me, I need it to pull in and have those 2 days tight. So not a viable setup for tomorrow. Therefore, it stays on the watch list and it keeps trending. Okay. You have your 2 days tight here, but it doesn't pull in. I require it to pull in a little bit. Okay. So this is staying on the watch list. Stays on the watch list, stays on the watch list. Okay. So now we have a down day. Okay. But this does not meet my 2 days tight. So it stays on the watch list. Okay. 2 days tight. You have a close here and a close here. So what I'm going to do is set a alert for right here. Okay, let's see what happens the next day. Nothing happens here. I'm going to leave the alert where it is. Now, this is showing clear signs of support. You have 3 days tight here. I'm going to move my alert to the high of this. Okay, the alert is not a buy point. It's just a way for us to put our eyes onto the stock. So this is going to now be moved over to a focus list for sure. Okay, we do this every single day. The next day we have the breakout. You enter, you put the stop at the low of the day, gaps out really nicely. You move up to break even, and then it trends, and then you can sell at some sort of return on your risk. I like 3R. I like to sell a little bit at 2R, but whatever you guys want to do is how you're going to do it. Okay, so let's look at it from another perspective. You have shop here. Okay, so you have this big gap up. It gets picked up on the 3R vol scan, right? Because it's on 800% volume. Okay, it stays on the watch list right now because it does not qualify for a buy for the next day. So this is a watch list. Okay, so let's see what happens the next day. The next day, it moves up. I'm not going to do anything with this. This is wide and loose. This is not tight and orderly. So we're going to keep it on the watch list. Okay, so this is something that is interesting, right? It's holding here. So you set your alert here. It has clear signs of support here. These are 2 days tight. Actually, this is kind of 4 days tight. So you set your alert here. Now you move it over to a focus list. Okay. So we'll see what happens the next day. Nothing happens. The next day, okay, so you move this down here, and we're looking for a delayed entry. Nothing happens. It's getting very tight here. Okay. And then focus list, right? Stays on the focus list. There's no violations. A violation is a close below the 21-day moving average. You get your trigger, you enter, and then it follows through, and then you sell partials, however you want to handle it. Okay, let's look at a an example using a continuation type setup. So you see that it does not have a big gap up, but you have this really big volume here. Okay, it is on 117% relative volume. Has this big breakout. So this would not be picked up on your 3R vol scan, but let's see which scan it will get picked up on. 40%. So this would have come up on your 20% in 1 week, or your 30%. This would have been picked up on that momentum scan. Okay, so at some point, this gets picked up on one of your scanners, and you are just waiting. Again, you're waiting for a couple days tight. So let's say you get something like this, right? You have a momentum scan, 40% in less than 20 days. This is going to be picked up on one of your scans. Okay, so this is now on your watch list. We'll say, for example, the watch list is here. We're looking for that 2 days tight, nice orderly pullback. Not here, not here. You see signs of support here. This is something that you could put a alert here. Okay, it shows clear signs of support. You're getting some tight closes here. Okay, volume is drying up. So this is going to get moved over to a focus list. Okay, so let's see what happens the next day. Nothing happens. You leave the alert where it is. Boom, breakout. Okay, follows through. You sell some, you move your stop loss to break even, and then you sell into the strength as it makes that move. Okay, we'll use one last example where you kind of have two examples here. So this first one is going to be a delay entry example. Okay, so the stock moves 600% in 1 day. That's going to put you on a watch list here. Okay, and you're looking for either a delay entry. The first thing you're looking for is a delay entry, which happens 3 to 7 days after the gap up or the big reversal bar. So right now it's on a watch list, not buyable the next day. It's not buyable until day 3. So is there any tight action? Signs of support? No. So it stays on the watch list. Any violations? No, stays on the watch list. Okay, this is interesting, right? Buyer stepped in. So I will set an alert for high of the day. Now I'm going to move it over to a focus list. Okay, let's see what happens the next day. Big breakout. This is a delay entry. Okay, 3 to 7 days after. Okay, and it needs to happen in the range of the big high volume bar. Okay, I call it a turbulence zone. You call it whatever you like. The delay entry works best when it's in that range. Okay, so moves on, blah 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 blah. So let's ignore all of this, and we'll say, let's say we missed it. Okay, so you have the big gap up here, right? Okay, so this is going to get picked up on one of your scans. This is going to get picked up on the RVOL scan. It's also going to get picked up on any one of your scans. 75% in 15 days, it gets picked up. Okay, it has an ugly bar, but that's okay. We don't care because delay entries happen from bars like this all day long. So what happens? So this goes on a watch list. Is not viable the next day. Okay. 2 days later, is there tight action? Did it pull in? Yes. So we will set an alert for the high. Sorry. We'll set an alert for the high of that day. Now it gets moved over to a focus list stock. Okay. Alert set. Boom. So let's see what happens. Okay. I'm just going to move the alert down some, but you're getting clear signs of support. Volume is drying up. Nothing happens. Clear signs of support. Volume's drying up. You see that there's clear signs of support here. All these are really nice tight closes. So I'm going to move my alert down. We'll see what happens the next day. Again, no violations, right? It did not close below the 21. So we're just going to move the alert down, right? This is setting up for a delay entry. It's going to catch people off guard. One more time. Okay, now keep it on the focus list. Move the alert down. No violations. Now you have some volume coming in, right? You see you had a green bar here. Then what happens? Another day, tight. So at this point, you're like, is this thing ever going to happen? But you have to stick to the rules. The rules is until there's a close below 21-day moving average, we're going to stay on it. The next day, again, does not really break out, right? If you bought it because the alert went off, well, you're impatient, but that's okay. Alert moves to the high of that day. Boom, you get your breakout. Very subtle. It's not overwhelming, but this is a breakout. You have a big range expansion. Range expansion is almost 300% range expansion. You have a very tight stop. Very tight stop. Boom, gap up, you sell into that, and then you are really happy with that. Okay, so this is how we trade delay entry and continuation breakouts using very simple scans, but really it's our eyes that are doing most of the work. Okay. And so you need to just really focus on, for me, very few simple scans and then having really excellent management of what's on a watch list and what's on a focus list. Once you can manage that, you only have 3 to 5 names on a focus list. You're not in the session looking for a stock that's breaking out. You've done the work, you have a process, you have trust in the process, confidence in the process, and when you're trading breakouts after tightness, you really are coming from a very low risk perspective and has really great success. And so I really encourage you to take what you're learning from this video, apply it to your situation, and really just narrow down what it is that you do and make sure you're like a machine. You stick to it every single day, every single week. If you have any questions, let me know. You can join our community Voyage Trading Group. Uh, Voyager Pro is what we call the community, and I would love to see you over there. Okay, thank you guys.